Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we actually have some pretty big news when it comes to the Xbox. So the Xbox actually had their big earnings calls all now finally go and come on out. Now, in case you guys are kind of curious on what this means, this basically means that like Microsoft itself is the big head honcho, was talking about like the financials, how much money they made, which like kind of groupings of things, made more money, made more revenue, what's kind of growing, what's kind of shrinking, all that type of stuff. Mainly because it's a really big public facing company, you want to go and sit there and be like, hey, you want to invest in our stock? Well, here we're going to be making money here, we're going to be making money here, we may have lost a little bit of money over here, but that's okay, we made 18% over there. And right now Microsoft has gone public, and there's quite a few very intriguing numbers, especially in regards to the Xbox growth, and also the future of the company that is now coming on out. So we're going to go talk about this all throughout this video, so make sure you guys sit back, relax, and enjoy. I'm always kind of a big on the low-key kind of financial guy. I love seeing these numbers, love seeing these discussions and everything else, so hopefully you guys do too as well. We have the Twitter and Twitch room down below in case you guys like to go and follow. We also have the Amazon links, and of course, on the same financial side, if you guys want to sign up for Webull, even buy things like the Microsoft stock or whatever, if you guys go deposit any type of money, get a bunch of free stocks. Those are linked down below. Let's go and dive on into the video itself. So as I mentioned, Microsoft is now officially kind of going public and talking about where they went right, where they went wrong, and where the future is heading. And apparently the gaming revenue has been very, very good, and the future of the Xbox is also looking very, very good, where Microsoft's quarterly gaming revenue is up now 49% following Activision's purchase. As all as per the latest financial report, and it's kind of very intriguing to go and see. Now, we kind of knew this was going to happen a little bit, mainly because when it comes to Xbox and Activision, they're still big conglomerates. Xbox as a whole, with Game Pass, individual sales, console sales, everything, is still making good money. But at the same reverse side, Activision has been one of the biggest companies on the planet. It was a $70 billion game. Everyone knows Call of Duty. Everyone knows World of Warcraft. Everyone knows, at least a lot of the gaming sense know, like Overwatch, etc., Diablo. Like, these are pretty big name games with everything else also involved. But mainly Call of Duty Mobile, etc. These things are printing money. And when it comes to that, the company itself also makes a lot of money, and people are kind of curious on where it would end up. Now, a lot of early rumors were assuming that it was going to overtake both Nintendo and PlayStation as one of the more profitable companies on the planet, mainly because you have big money from Activision, big money from Xbox, combined even bigger. It's kind of, I think, a very big duh. But right now we actually have all of the numbers to go and prove it based on Microsoft themselves. Microsoft has shared its quarter 2 2024 financial results, and reporting significant revenue gains across its gaming division, including a massive 61% increase in Xbox content and services revenue following the $69 billion acquisition of Activision Blizzard. As per its quarter 2 earning release, Microsoft's gaming revenue increased by 49% compared to the equivalent quarter in its previous financial year, with the company recording a 61% boost in Xbox content and service revenue. So basically having a lot more stuff, let's say, on Game Pass, and as well also having a lot more revenue overall, just money being made by the company itself on the Xbox part, which encompassed money generated the likes of Game Pass plus a 3% increase in the Xbox hardware revenue, which also means they're selling more consoles and doing more good stuff. Unsurprisingly, Microsoft's Activision Blizzard acquisition was a key driver of its quarter 2 growth, with the deal contributing to just over $2 billion in revenue. However, operating expenses and other costs, including costs related to the transaction and integration, saw the net impact of the Activision Blizzard deal resulting in an operational loss of $440 million. This is very hard to break down. Number one is that the overall increase in revenue is exploding. Like, that's a very good amount, and if you want to go and pay back the $69 billion you spent, revenue is a big thing to know. But you also have to factor in profit. Like, there's also certain things that matter a little bit more, and having an operating loss in the overall company for $440 million, even with like gaming going well, hardware going well, Xbox Game Pass going well, and also Activision Blizzard going well, is very concerning. Although when it comes to these types of things, and as you guys probably know, I'm in a big kind of bankruptcy case myself, lawyers are very expensive. And this could have just also been a really big case of, like, let's say you're giving people severance bonuses and like stock buyouts, which do happen. And as well, we've also maybe seen people just spending a lot of money on lawyers, which also wouldn't make a lot of sense. You're dealing with multiple different governments. You're dealing with multiple different types of IPs, licenses. Like, there could just be a huge, like, $100 million alone on lawyers in a quarter, because there's just so much stuff you have to go to make sure legally you're good, monopoly you're good. And once again, you have the ongoing big legal case going on with every other country that still is kind of lingering in certain different cases. And as well, $444 million could be like people moving over, we having to also have just increased costs, like maybe what was really a cost for like those like Xbox layoffs could also been a big factor in those costs. Like, a lot of those different things are now being changed and adjusted, but it's crazy to go see these numbers as we're seeing them. As noted by The Verge, though, Microsoft's latest figures mean gaming is now the company's third largest business, contributing over $7.1 billion in revenue for its latest quarter. And that's crazy, because I do believe the number 1 and 2, we can look in a second, is basically along the lines of, like, I believe AI, and also then on top of, like, Microsoft Office, or maybe probably more on the cloud hosting Microsoft Office. AI is still on the, like, the emerging sense. Today's strong gaming revenue results followed last week's announcement that Microsoft would be laying off 1,900 workers across its video game teams, with workers in Activision Blizzard, ZeniMax, and Xbox all affected. At the time, Xbox CEO Phil Spencer said the cuts, which equate to around 8% of Microsoft's total gaming workforce, were a painful decision. Last week also brought the news that Blizzard president Mike Ybarra will be departing from Microsoft too as well, while the Call of Duty general manager Johan Ferris will be taking over the role. So it's kind of crazy to go and see this, because right now we're seeing these numbers and things are going crazy. So when it comes to this one, Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella on gaming in Q2 2024. This quarter, we set all-time records for monthly active users of Xbox, PC, as well as mobile, where we now have 300 million monthly active users, inclusive of Activision Blizzard King. With cloud gaming, we continue to innovate to offer players more ways to experience the games they love. Hours streamed increased by 44% year over year. Now, this kind of goes back to the also Xbox getting rid of their physical hardware. Right now, it doesn't seem like they're hurting. And as well, if they're kind of trying to go push this big Xbox Game Pass, cloud gaming, cloud hosting, streaming, on an increase of over 44%, even now when it's such a common occurrence, like think Netflix, Amazon Prime, Twitch, whatever it might be, that's huge. Like 44% is basically them saying, like, this is the future of gaming, let's get on it. And so far, the numbers actually have seemed to be, like, pretty true. And as well, this also has a lot of room to grow, because I know a lot of folks that aren't on Game Pass, on Xbox consoles, that are pure PlayStation 5, maybe even some of you guys watching. Now, I'm not anti-PlayStation 5, although I would like for them to focus a little bit more on cloud gaming, cloud hosting, and all that if they could, because, well, that's just the future, as I mentioned. So right now, Xbox is doing very good. 200 million in monthly active users is ridiculous, although I'm not necessarily sure on how much, like, how they factor that. Things like mobile gamers are very skewed on a lot of different factors, or very basic, like you have someone who plays one game, they count, which still does count, or things like, say, Xbox, Call of Duty, which probably has millions of users actively playing, things like free-to-play games, like World of Warcraft has tens of millions of people probably playing the game in and out throughout a whole few-month cycle. Same thing, too, as well as, say, like, you know, Call of Duty, Diablo, Overwatch, everything is really kind of big to go and see this in combination with things like Halo, people on Game Pass, which is in the 20 millions-ish or so, give or take. Like, it makes sense. Like, I mean, they have a lot of folks in the overall ecosystem, or maybe even someone who buys a Microsoft game 2 years ago and still launches it, they still count. Now, as well, if you guys want to go look at the actual overall numbers, which is intriguing, this is where Microsoft stands right now, where basically gaming is the third largest kind of thing over here, saying they have server hosting, so that's like xCloud and Azure, which is at, I believe over here, looking at $24 billion, I believe. Then they also have the Office products, so think like Microsoft Windows, Teams, whatever, in cloud services at $13 billion. And as well, gaming is at 7.1, which means like Xbox, Activision now at this point. Windows as a whole is at $5.2 billion. LinkedIn is at 4, which I never know how LinkedIn makes money, I'll be honest with you guys, but they're there. And then also Bing is at around $3 billion. And then enterprise and partner services, no idea what that is. Probably just Microsoft doing hosting services or whatever it might be. I'm not really super sure. Is at around $2 billion. Dynamic products and cloud services, just kind of like more same old, same old. Same with the enterprise, server, and Office products. And around another $1.5 billion. Devices, which I do believe might be more of like, say, Windows tablets, Windows Phone, stuff like that, around 1.3 billion, and then 11 other is at like 11 maybe million or so. And we've all seen all around big numbers and big improvements. We kind of see all these types of stuff. This is for a 3-month cycle, so they're still making $62 billion. Don't forget, though, this is also a big homage that Microsoft is the biggest company on the planet, although stock prices may go and change that depending on the day-to-day. But Microsoft is booming, and Xbox as well is kind of growing with the company itself. So I want to hear all your thoughts and comments on everything down below. We have the Twitter and Twitch stream as well if you guys would like to follow. Subscribe if you guys are new with the notifications on. We have the Weeble where you guys go and sign up, get a bunch of free stocks if you guys deposit some money. And of course, I just appreciate you guys all so much for watching. Xbox is doing good. Let's see where it keeps on going.